YouTube? It's your boy again, Chris, here about some more Chris Wrestling views. Today, you guys are going to be doing the WWE Raw review on basically everything that happened last night and giving my thoughts and opinions on it, as I do usual. Alright, so last night, the opening was Drew McIntyre comes out talking about, Bobby Lashley beat him down, and he admit that Bobby Lashley did beat him down, and then, Then after that, Miz comes out, and Miz, tells the ring announcer that he wants a proper introduction with pyro and all the other stuff or whatever. And then after then, Lashley comes out, of course, and then Miz tries to get in the head of Drew, trying to get him to join Miz and Morrison, of course. MVP comes out and tells Miz that his match with Lashley will start with 1 hour starts at 9 p.m. last night. So MVP told me is to get ready because Bobby Lashley is coming for him. And then Sheamus comes out, and then it ends up being a match between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. So my thoughts on that, on the opening of Raw. I mean, Drew McIntyre has been WWE champion, for a good amount of months, and then he ended up losing because Miz cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase on him. But then again, you guys, it's like, it is what it is. But I'm gonna go ahead and get down to the first match that happened on Raw last night. Like I said, it was Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. Drew McIntyre, I'm talking about, this match was incredible. That should have been like the main event or close to a main event type match. So I'm just tell you a couple of highlights, that happened in the match. Drew McIntyre does the 10 beats of the bow that Sheamus does, and then Sheamus bro kicks Drew outside the ring. Then then Sheamus throws Drew on, then Drew throws Sheamus on the table. Sheamus was getting ready to jump onto Drew as Drew was down and Sheamus was up on the top rope. And then after then, you guys, what's the name? Drew McIntyre jumps up with the kick up, with the kick up, and then looks at Sheamus on the top rope, and then he hits the Glasgow Kiss on him. And after the Glasgow Kiss, that's when Drew McIntyre runs up on, runs up on the rope, and then do like a body toss off the top rope onto, on Sheamus. And then Drew McIntyre goes for the pin. Sheamus kicks out. Then Drew McIntyre go for white noise off the top rope, you guys. But after then, they, he's still kicked out. And then that's when Sheamus go for the Alabama Slam. Then Drew kicks out again. Sheamus tries to go for the bro kick, but Drew McIntyre, but it was like brogue and then Claymore at the same time. So Drew McIntyre came with a little bit more force to pick up the victory over his long-time friendship with Sheamus, with being friends for 20 years, you guys. And this match right here, the rating I gave it was a 4.5 because this match really stole basically most of the show, because this was one match that couldn't top, it could top any other match that I'm going to go over with and all that, but great match, great superstars, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. I feel like they're on top of the mountain when it comes to being on Monday Night Raw. So, congratulations to Drew McIntyre picking the victory up over Sheamus. But Sheamus and Drew, like I said, they're incredible. Alright, the second match that happened on Raw last night was Naomi versus Nia Jax. Nia Jax ends up winning with the powerbomb looking like move. I really didn't give that match a rating, but if I had to guess, I would give it a 2, simply because, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, they're getting ready for their match on Wednesday against Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So make sure you guys are on tomorrow, which is Wednesday, because today is Tuesday, where I'm at. So I'm doing this video early this morning. So yeah, make sure y'all don't miss NXT for that match if any of you are interested in seeing that. Alright, so let's go to the third match. I won't call this a match, but it was supposed to have been Bobby Lashley versus The Miz. Then on national television, they were basically saying that Miz pooped on himself. And then Lashley pushes The Miz because Lashley was getting frustrated in the ring, so he ran backstage and, started pumping up Miz. And then so Adam Pearce tells The Miz that he got exactly 1 hour at 10 p.m. That he better be in that ring to face Lashley. So, go ahead. Going on to the next part. Braun Strowman comes out. Talks about not being in the chamber. Talking about the WWE management have something against him. Same thing like Sami Zayn is basically doing over there on Friday Night SmackDown. Shane McMahon comes out, with Adam Pearce. And Braun Strowman will team up with Adam Pearce to face WWE Raw Tag Team Champions Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. But what ended up happening, you guys, was Shane McMahon was trying to tell Adam Pearce, to go for a pin, but Adam Pearce ends up getting rolled up. So Shane was looking, like, what did I do wrong? So that match right there, I have to give it a 1.3 because we've seen it coming. We see how frustrated Braun Strowman has been with the WWE ever since he lost his WWE Universal title back in August, you guys, of SummerSlam. Yeah, it was SummerSlam. Okay, it was The Fiend versus Braun Strowman at that time, which was the worst SummerSlam ever that I've seen. So yeah, you guys, that match happened last night. I gave it a 1.3. Not really a good match or anything, but let's go down to the next little match they had. They had Damian Priest versus Elias. Priest ends up winning with the broken arrow. But Damian Priest ended up winning, you guys, on that one. I have to give that match a 3.7 because Damian Priest and Elias did do a great job, with the match. It was not best as like the Sheamus and Drew McIntyre match, but it was a good match, to see on Raw. So, congratulations to Damian Priest keeping up with all these victories that he's doing, you guys. But we will definitely see what WWE will have for Damian Priest, possibly if he will face someone at WrestleMania that he can keep a good feud with and not just wrestling whatever superstar that comes up in the way. All right, let's go down to the next thing, you guys, which was a backstage thing with Randy Orton. Randy Orton talks about Alexa and The Fiend. Alexa plays, with the Jack in the Box and said, bring him back. And with Orton, they had like Orton up on the screen where he was like an evil type person or whatever, and Orton was staring at his own self. And, Orton started coughing, and then that really closed that. My thoughts and opinions over that, you guys. I mean, Orton is a great superstar. He has been ever since he came to the WWE back in the early 2000s. I think it was 2002 or 2001 or so, but I think it was 2002 or 4. But Orton, he's been that guy. He's been just everything what most WWE, what most professional wrestling company looks for in a superstar. But let's continue on, you guys. So then again, it's supposed to be Bobby Lashley versus The Miz again, but it did not happen. So this time, you guys, Shane and MVP talks about, having another match later on that night, but Miz ends up grabbing that belt and just hightailing away, you guys, and it made Bobby Lashley even madder that Miz keeps running, from him. But, it is what it is. And I'm going to continue on to not go over that so much until I get to my next part, which was Charlotte. So the next part was a promo in the ring where Charlotte Flair talks about how, how she let Lacey Evans get to her head and all that stuff, and she said that since Asuka doesn't have an opponent for WrestleMania, she wants to face Asuka at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. I mean, somebody needs to, you guys, because I said in my Raw preview that someone needs to face Asuka for that Raw Women's Championship. She hasn't defended that Raw Women's Championship ever since November of last year, and that Alexa thing, I keep on saying that doesn't count at all. So, after then, Shayna Baszler comes out, talks about she wants to face Asuka at WrestleMania, and Charlotte said, how great she is and all that stuff. And then it come with Shayna versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair ends up picking the victory over Shayna Baszler. So what could we see next, you guys? Will it indeed be Charlotte Flair versus Asuka at WrestleMania? And after then, you guys, if Charlotte Flair does win, who will Charlotte Flair compete against? All right, let's move on to the main event. All right, let's go, you guys. So Shane McMahon comes out as Bobby Lashley MVP. MVP in the corner of Bobby Lashley and John Morrison in the corner of The Miz. Shane McMahon said it would now be a lumberjack match, so everything would be contested, fairly. And so, like I said, comes out to be a lumberjack match. Match wasn't pretty steady, you guys, but with the outcome of it was pretty great, and I know a lot of people were happy about this. Bobby Lashley ends up putting a hurt lock on The Miz and making The Miz tap out, you guys. And so Bobby Lashley is your new WWE champion. Most of you guys probably remember back in TNA Impact Wrestling, where Bobby Lashley was with MVP at the time. I'm not sure if y'all remember that. If y'all don't, also check that out when Bobby Lashley became the TNA World Champion back over there, and at that same time he had MVP in his corner as his manager. So if y'all probably don't remember that, go and check that out. So congratulations to Lashley picking up the victory last night. What does Miz possibly have in store? Because you guys know that Miz is a mastermind. He knows how to get back his his prized possession, whether it was that Money in the Bank briefcase that time, and then the WWE Championship. But we will definitely see. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching Chris Wrestling videos here on YouTube.com. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I would see y'all in my next video. Probably it's gonna be like some wrestling news, you guys. So make sure you stay tuned to Chris Wrestling videos here on YouTube.com.